welcome you to the channel. I got a lot of information I'm going to give to you in just a few minutes, so if you don't mind, do hold on. I'm going to show a couple things to those that have the private community education, as well as those that have the indicators. The supply and demand video, thank you for that support there. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and take that video in. I've been doing a series of videos on timing that bar, knowing what type of bar it'll be before it even closes. All right, make sure that you know what to expect down to the seconds. All right, threshold, how far the candle pulled back before it resumes. The price action trend, you just need to be able to count to 10. And then the price action method, I use the majority principle, which states the minority is compelled to follow. And then that chart scale, I teach how to read the chart on your right hand side, not your left. We had this information here I put out, this morning. And then, of course, yesterday we had those zones we looked at, but I left out one. I want to show you those zones because I left out one, and I'm going to show you some other stuff too. Pay attention to this one particularly because I want to make sure you see what happened. All right, so 29,177. This is the legacy zones. All right, we knew the trend zones. This is the trend zone one. We knew we had all of them back there. I'm gonna show you that legacy one. All right, so here's that zone, 29,177. They never made it there, so they actually fell into all of those trend zones. They actually, because we read this from that top, it ended up dropping back, right? And so they fell into that zone. All right, so yeah, so and that's all you had. They wind up running to the upside here. Now I did tell them this, and I'm gonna tell you guys this because I knew this yesterday. I knew it. I knew it before yesterday. It was on the 29th. I knew it. All right, so just I'm gonna show you what I think is going to happen. We're gonna keep going down. There's a couple things I am gonna add to the suite. This is a template that you will receive. You'll receive a black one as well as a white one. I'm adding this to it too, so you're gonna get a quote from. I took that text off. I think I'm gonna have to add that back. It's the Nasdaq, the ES, the Dow, and the Russell. I took the background text off. I need to add that back. But you'll get a live quote because I know some people want to see that action directly on their chart to just try to get a feel of the breadth of the market, like how is it trading. So I'm trying to put a couple of those indications in there. All right. So there's a couple other things I'll be adding as well, but that's definitely one of them. All right. So the volume benchmark. All right, we've been looking at this particular tool again. The one bar plot. It just tells you which side they're on. They kind of bang their head up against the bottom of that range. Came in on that middle. They was coming out on that top. They slick. They dropped right back, but they didn't want to, get the operating in front of these red bars. Came in with this range off that bottom, ran up to the top of that range, drove them back down. Okay, and then of course they had that red bar back here too. They had that one as well as that one here. They're slick. Trust me, they're really slick with this stuff. And then of course they came back up on the top of that range, back up on the top of the range. Here come your 930 with that back and forth. Ran right back down there to those red bars, popped that high, and then of course there's the red bar here. Now they're not getting back above that. That's bad, because we got this range finishing developing. I told you guys that this range is the most significant one. If you want to learn about the other two, that makes for the difficulty as to why it comes back to this range, please go check out that timing, that professional timing series. There's 4 videos there. Take them all in. There's a lot of information there. All right, so here's that green bar. They was above it, but then they came below it. All right, that's bad. If you're not going to go back to that range, you're just going to run back down. And so the same thing here. They clipped it. It's just telling you which side they're on. They was trying their best here, but then it popped up, and then of course you can see that little back and forth, little swinging that they did there, and then they begin to move down. One thing I'll tell you, once they come back past these bars, just make sure that they don't come back above them. All right. So if you see them coming back through this way, they showed them broke that in there, and so they did that little move there. They had no business coming back down here. All right, so if they wanted to climb back up, they could have, but they didn't. And so what you would do is you'll keep an eye on the back of this bar. You'll keep an eye on it, and of course it just begin to move down, like here. See, they ran up above it, but then they came back under it. All right, now if they're gonna, blow this pivot, clearly don't let them back in front of that bar. They begin to move down. They're coming in kind of active right there. All right, so here are the zones. They never made it to this one up at the top. I just got like 15 days here on this. These are the consecutive zones. All right, and these are like one of my favorites. The consecutive zones is one of my favorites. They didn't want to come back to that top. All right, they got close to it, but they didn't want to get there. And then of course here, this is the legacy zones. All right, I thought I added about 15 days to this. Let me see. Yeah, I added about 15 days. I don't want to have to load too many because you don't need all of that really. This is the Quick Field Trend Finder Pro zone. Sorry, and again, these are a little bit more dialed back, a little bit more dialed back information there. I believe I got 15 on this as well. They got really close to that and the consecutive ones. They got really close, but then they turned around and took off to the downside there. And then this is your trend one. All right, so the trend here, I actually got the no touch targets in here as well, kind of telling you how far it's going to reach down, if it's going to continue down. It almost got to this target. It almost made it. All right, and that's that the no touch, no close target. If it was the trend, you would see a zone back here, but that's not it. And so it almost got to that target, and so now they're remaining constant on getting this to work to the downside. All right, so that's the trend target down here because it doesn't have a price on it at all. So that's a trend target. They almost got to it, and so that's what you have there. All right, now let's see what we got behind here, because if you can't afford the indicator suite, which I'm pretty certain you should be able to if you're trying to trade futures, it's only $100 for what I'm presenting to the public here. You can get it for $100. Everybody else is going to offer you $400 one indicator for $400. I'm not doing that. All right, so trying to turn it upside down in favor of the trader. I know how difficult it can be, because I went through the difficulty myself of being in a place where I am able to offer services. It's very challenging when you first start trading, so I'm not without understanding when it comes to where you need to be when it comes to getting some help. And so just let someone know it's a little bit of help here. That's all. Just want to help you. All right, so here's that range. All right, that's that range, and there's that range time. And of course, they ended up falling through it. And again, you'll want to check out the other information I told you guys on last night. You can go back to yesterday's video and take a look. But I told you guys, I absolutely told you. I said, hey, where is it at? Where is it at? No, that was before. Yeah, so they were coming down. We read it right here in yesterday's video, and they ended up tanking and sweeping that bottom. And I told you, as long as they don't get past this area here. So when they got past this area, let's just project this forward. I told you, if they come up under here, you're going to have a problem. All right, so let's go and kind of scroll that forward. See? The moment that they got under there, they took off to the downside. I did tell you you would want to see them. You can go back to yesterday's video and confirm exactly what I'm saying. I told you that there's a window right here and right here, and that you would prefer them to be up here to get it through that high, and that would make more sense. And they went through that high, but they just didn't want to stay up. So I hope you guys watched yesterday's video, because I told you if they get up under this area, it will be absolutely bad, and there's your bad for you. All right, so now this is also another indicator I'm gonna put in the suite, is the statics targets level. Now you're just trying to get to the blue line. I have it for the higher time frame, which is these numbers. I have it for that too. I just don't have it on this chart, but I have it for that. And you can cut. I know it looks busy, but don't worry about it. You'll be able to cut these off and just go for that blue line. That's all you would need to go to. So if they're going from one, you reach for the next. It's just that simple. Just make sure you do that, and you can get stuck in between the two. All right, so and that's going to be in the suite too. I'm gonna add all of this today. All right, sometime today I should have it all loaded. All right, so let's read this. I did manage to come down to a 15-second because I don't want to be before you long. Right now we're pushing 8 minutes. I'm trying to be off here in a matter of minutes. All right, so here we go. Let's read our chart as we did yesterday. And if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button if you don't mind. I definitely want to say thank you to Mahalo and Alexander for the donations. I hope I'm pronouncing the name right. I really appreciate the fact that you guys were kind enough to adhere what I said, because a lot of people say, hey, if you were in my town, I would take you out or whatever. I'm not in your town. I don't like flying. First off, I don't like flying anywhere. All right, but I'm not in your town. So if you, and Payman actually sent me some cocoa. Thank you so much, my friend. So if you guys would like to donate, there's a link below the video. You can buy me a cup of coffee if you want. That's totally up to you. I don't drink coffee. coffee, but you get the gist of what I'm saying. If you want to just again show a level of appreciation, that's totally fine. And again, I only put that there for those that genuinely have an interest sharing how they feel. That's all. You don't have to do that, but I just want to go ahead and put that there for those that want to. If you would like to, you're more than welcome to do so. You may not want the indicators. You may not want to be on the private community. You may not want to do any of that, and that's totally fine. But if you value the content that's here in the public space, I'm offering education that's worth thousands of dollars for free. All right, I just want to say that to you. So that was the center of your chart, but they're doing something a little bit different just at this moment. So let's calculate this back down. I do provide a scale with your information to let you know that, hey, here's your scale and it won't move. We're having to adjust, but it won't move. And so you just do this. You saw them at the center, they rotated down, but now they're trying to play the lower half of the scale. And again, I provide a background template. And if you watch the videos on the channel, you'll see it. You'll see it. It's there. It's in a lot of these videos. Definitely, yeah, see, you can see it here. It's in a lot of them. All you would have to do is go back. And even in that one, it's in a lot of videos. I just don't have it on this one because I want to teach you how to just take the center of your chart and project it forward. And you're going to end up with a bezel effect, as so, where you'll get your center and your lower half or your upper half. And we need to bring this down as well. Give or take, going to give or take here, trying to teach you how to read your chart. Now the next thing that you're going to find, because I see they have a trend, they had a trend down as well, but let's just kind of outline this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's 7, closing higher than the prior. That's the key. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's 7. It cannot be both. It cannot be both. So they're at the center, slightly above the midpoint. It can't be both. All right. So the center of the trend is like the cost of the thought. I want to go ahead and tell you that. So whenever you have a thought, you have the end in mind, but there's a point of deliberation where you would like to proceed with the thing that you value the most, which is your primary goal or your secondary goal. You would love to go with the primary, but sometimes you have to settle for the secondary. And now it's just all about whether or not it's worth anything to you to pursue it. And so the center of the trend, if you will, acts as that, the primary and the secondary. All right, and you just got to see which one is more feasible for you to pull off. All right, that's just how you got to look at it. Make it real simple, because this is a decision place. I got to bring it to the center of the trend. Decision place. All right, just want to tell you that it's full of decisions, and you would always have the end in mind. All right, so I know it took off on us. It was at the center chart. So it's supposed to do that. All right, now the next thing that you will want to find, we're pushing 12 minutes. We got to hurry this thing up. Can you find, let's do it down here. I know it's kind of doing that. Just give it a moment. All right. All right, got a couple things right now. So you got to find a candle that midpoint is exceeding that bar's high or exceeding the bar's low. All right, now, should that be there? All right, should that show up? What it's telling you, then they're trying to go down. Let's do it this way. Is that it can go that far. All right. Now, I know you see this scenario. The bar is in red, but you see that scenario, right? That's saying, now it's saying this, okay, that it can get here. All right. Sometimes what it does, and I'm going to put the chart back as it were in just a moment. Sometimes what it does, it'll try to offer it to you on the inside. Okay. All right, sometimes that's what it does. It had one here. All right, so it had one here. I think this will make a little bit more sense. I don't believe that they can get down there without coming back a little bit, but we'll see. It's kind of probably almost one and the same. Yeah, it's almost one and the same for that one. They may want to reach back before they get here, though. All right, and that won't be before you long. All right, so that's saying that they'll get there. Listen to the market. All right, so that's one scenario. The next one you'll want to find is this one right here with nothing on the chart, no indicators. All right. See, can you get that body to fit in there at least twice? Now, if you can't get that, this is the next thing I want you to find. You will want at least 2 of these things out of 3, and if not, try to get them all of them, all the better. Okay. So 3, and so this would have been 3. All right. This is 3. All right. So that's 3. Well, I guess they are going to make it right now. All right, so yeah, they made that. Now, whether or not they'll make this, that's the thing that I'm concerned about. That you may get a rotation before that happens, but maybe they're doing it again. So let's just go ahead and not rob ourselves. And yeah, they're saying they're going to make that too. All right, now let's get back. Well, the chart scale is still there. You know they're beneath the halfway point of the chart scale. We'll just do this. No, let me start over. Let me start over because I want you to capture this. We already did it from up here. They was at the center. They fell. All right, let's do it again. Here's the center of your chart. Go to your right hand side. You don't have to look left. You can just do this. It's really simple. Don't make this stuff complicated. Okay, now once you do that, that's pretty much going to fall right here. So I'm going to just throw this slightly up under that. You will want to do this. All right. Now, here's the next thing that you would want to do. Try to divide this section right here. Don't worry about all of that over there. Don't worry about that. Okay, hindsight would never stop you out. So you got to stay right here on that hard right edge and just pay attention to what they're doing. I didn't think they'll reach there. I didn't. There's reasons. There's reasons. I just can't tell you. You got to come to the private playlist in order to learn. Again, I'm offering offering information for a little bit of money, very little for what you would pay for one indicator on somebody else's website. I'm going to give you education, tons of education. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. All right, it's in a public space. You can kind of see what I'm up to. I really want people to succeed with trading. I want you to get an experience that you never had and understand the market in a way that you've never seen it. All right, so now the other final piece I want to tell you about the bar. All right, because we're coming up on 16 minutes. I got to go. The threshold. All right, this is how far that live candle will pull back before resuming. The live candle should pull back before resuming. All right, and they're trying to say, hey, we're going to do this again. They're still beneath the lower half of that chart. That's saying they may want to come back. I know this bottom week, they should be able to fall right through it. So they may do it with this. All right. Now, I like to go with the pattern here. All right. I like to go with the threshold here. That's my preferred way of going about it. This is weak. They should be able to get through it. They just may not do it now, but they should be able to get through it. They may actually want to get here and then come back down. Kind of what they did, up here. It's kind of went down and came back a little bit. So they may want to do that. Now, this is that threshold for this bar. Maybe they're going to go ahead and honor it. Maybe. Just maybe. Let's see if they'll do it really quickly here. Again, we're pushing 17 minutes. I don't want to be up here much longer. All right. Now, if you want to count the bars to the seconds, if you want to go and do that, I really strongly suggest that you go to that playlist, the professional timing. Watch all 4 of those videos. I'll call it out to you by the seconds. Not a one-off type thing. I did it for 4 videos straight, and I'm sure if you've watched those videos, you've been doing it too, where the bar should close a particular kind of way. In that video, I was using the 1 minute. I can do it here too, but I'm not. All right, so yeah, they wanted to come up to this the lower half of the chart. All right, so that's my time with you. I do wish you all the best with your trading. Take care.